Hello and welcome to Planet Smasher HQ. My name's Mike, I'm the designer of Gaslands, A Billion Suns and Hobgoblin. I am working on a new miniatures game called SPACE GITS. It's a ridiculous dexterity-based miniature skirmish game of drunk-ass orcs looting, scooting and shooting. I'm planning to bring SPACE GITS to Kickstarter very soon. But there are some things I haven't done yet, and one of them is designing the factions. I received a box of orc miniatures from the lovely people at Kromlech recently, and in this video I shall have a sort through what they've sent me and try and build some orc models. I'm going to build some orc models for the factions in the game, only I don't know what the factions are in the game. So I'm going to see what we've got in the Kromlech kits, and I'm going to see what I can kit bash together, and I'm going to use that to inspire myself to develop some factions for the game, which I will then release in early access to you. Alright, let's get this bits box open and start crafting. Alright, it's a few hours of building later and I have a little over a dozen orcs built, so let's take a look at them. I started with some monopose guys. There's this sort of weird psychic orc. There's this Santa Claus. There he is. There is a Gretchen shouting something. I have some more Gretchen that I need to build. I haven't built any of them yet. There is the beer can and spatula wielding barbecue orc. He's excellent. I really wish I had more beer can wielding arms. I had a little go at sculpting one, but it didn't turn out as I'd liked. So I need to think about how to get more of those beer drinking orcs done. And then there is this monopose pilot model. That's pretty wicked. I imagine he's a military orc, but he is home from service. Maybe he got discharged for medical reasons, and so he's back home to celebrate. Alright, so then we got the first guy I built, who just looks like Ted Nugent as far as I'm concerned. So there's Ted. There's this drunken guy. I don't love the pose I've come up with, but he gets the point across. He's the first Mohawk punk. There'll probably be more. Then there's this Robo Chef. He's wielding, I don't know, some barbecue sauce. Maybe it's some whiskey. This chef hat is great. I really like it. And he's got a sort of Robo Cleaver. Yeah. And a paunch. Bit of a mould line that I still need to deal with here. Who else have we got? We got this guy, double pistols and listening to some banging tunes. Guy's running into town with his headphones on. There's this guy who's got sunglasses and is loading this massive slug shooting shotgun. There is this guy. I really like this sort of gorilla-like face. He's got bare feet, a sort of wooden punching fist, and this shotgun. Pretty cool. This is a full cyborg. He's a punk with big old potbelly, double power grabbing fist and soaring arm on a motorised mobility scooter thing. That's why he's so fat, he doesn't actually get any exercise these days. Then we got the first of a couple of pirates. This one is hook and hat and pistol. The other pirate is this guy. He's a bit beefier with a cutlass and a big old heavy weapon. So we can test out the heavy weapons. Then we got this guy. Again, don't love the pose, but it's supposed to be a sort of drunken charging forward. I really like this guy's hat. The intention here was to make this feel a little bit Clockwork Orange. So he's got a shirt on that will end up getting painted white. And then there's one other that I've built, which is this hulking guy with a huge rocket launcher. He's got a sort of flyboy hat with goggles on. Yeah, so there we go. So that is 16 orcs built from the Kromlech kits. I'm going to start thinking about how these guys map to the faction ideas that I wanted to put in Space Kits, and whether or not there are some faction ideas that I haven't really started to think and build models for. So yeah, there we go.
Alright, well this is a good start. That is a fair selection of orcs that I can share immediately with Till Forster, the artist. He's doing the illustrations for the game and was looking for some inspiration about what sort of characters and factions are going to appear in the city that the game takes place in. So this is a good start, but there's more. We need more. Let's get back to it.
I have a list of models that I need to build, and they are someone for Defuzz, someone for an old boy, a mushroom, Viking, barbarian, a mime, and a city swine. These are the guys I need. Let's find some bits. I'm going to start with the heads. Right, next I'm going to try and find some torsos. Okay, so next we need some leggies. I'm going to get some legs for these guys. Now I need tracks for this guy. Time for some arms. Want to do arms now? Yeah, maybe I'll do arms now. I'll do a first guess of arms. Right, so the first thing I'm looking for is anything that has no weapons. Actually, I'm a sick guy. Smoking a cigarette might not be bad.
He was going to have a shield. What would he need? He needs a sort of bent arm around the front of him. Going to delve into the forbidden bits. That's intriguing, and I don't know if it'll work. More forbidden bits. Look, these are the Kromlech orks I built a million years ago. Oh, that's a really good face, actually. Could make a mine hand, potentially, on the other side. Okay, what am I going to start with? City swine, I think. And it's possible to have these guys sort of looking quite dynamic, but I think instead I want them to look sort of tottering, quite like this tottering look. Great thing about this cork is you can put it down on the base and then you can carve uneven shapes in it to match whatever the weird conversion that you've built is. So there, his foot is slotting quite nicely in there. So we'll stick that guy down. Go back and decorate this base a bit. Quite like this guy with the monocle. He's pretty good. I think we'll save that until we've got the arms. And I do like this cigarette. Oh, this is cool. Also, it's like a white. It's a glove, so I can have it like a white glove. Like he's all posh. I think this guy probably wants a gun as well as his cigarette, so I think I'm going to grab a gun arm. Now, Kromlech are making some arms holding bottles, which they haven't sent to me yet, but are on their way. So I think if it was me, he'd be holding a booze bottle. Can he hold a booze bottle? Well, that is good. That bottle does fit very nicely into that hand. I'm working quick and rough here, so mistakes will be made. Now, I don't like that he's sort of offering the bottle, because that is not the character of this model. City swine are bastards that grab everything that they can, not people who offer bottles to each other. And this arm doesn't really work now because it's not pointed in the direction he's looking, so I think I want to lower it so it's sort of half forgotten about. I should have put slightly less super glue on the first time. Mistakes will be made. And then we'll make his other arm the active arm, but that doesn't work at all. It's quite a passive pose, but it's alright, I suppose. Don't love it, don't hate it. Done. Just thought of another good use for these. They should be on the bases. Get rid of that bit of sprue. Let's have a bottle. I'm going to go for this bowler hat's head here. It's got a badge on this guy that I don't like. I'm just going to remove it. Better. That's not very good. That's going to need some green stuff. That's a shame. I was trying to avoid green stuff, but there it is. Alright, well, he's unarmed, which is a thing. It's not brilliant. Not sure I've got the right head for this policeman. Let's have another think. I think really what I'm looking for is something where his eyes are covered, like Judge Dredd. There's a guy wearing glasses. That's possible. Yeah, that's cool. We'll go with the T1000 look. And we'll have him marching forward as best we can. Guess that will look like he's walking. Right, time for this guy. I am going to make some fairly serious modifications to these tracks. Do you know what? I might even use two and stick them together. Nubble it, and then I think we're going to cut across. And we're going to need a 40mm base for this. I really quite like this fat belly. It seems right to me. I need to get rid of some of this stuff, because there's too much stuff here. Ooh, that came off rather well. Now I don't want him squeezed into this little tiny pot, because I think it looks silly. I want him in a slightly larger thing. What have I got though? Not sure. That's actually pretty good. Some little bits of wood, they will be good. Those little gaps will fill with PVA and sand. Okay, so we've got this little doohickey. Pop! There it goes. Let's have a look. It's alright, it's going to need a bit of green stuff. I think I am committed to using green stuff for this now. I'm tempted to use poor man's green stuff here. Poor man's green stuff is super glue and sand. Yay! Sort of a cheap way of filling gaps in like a second, if you don't mind the mess. And in this situation, I really don't mind the mess. Okay, so that is looking convincing as a start. Tempted just to glue that on, but I'm not sure where the machinery is going. This particular resin is very soft and cuttable. It's great for conversions. Cool. I don't know what it's going to be in this massive cup here, but that's cool. Right, have we got enough space for that? Not quite. Let's let that dry. In the meantime, let's think about this guy's head and arms. Now, that guy's quite cool because he just looks like... he looks like a kind of GI. That's quite cool, but he doesn't have quite the grizzled veteran look. This guy does, though. He's got a cigar and an eye patch, which is sweet. Yeah. Yeah. Giving him a bit more neck, so he's a bit fatter around the neck wouldn't be a bad idea, but we'll see if we have the green stuff skills for that. He needs to be a bit more corpulent, so I need to clip some of this tank off, because this tank's going to get in the way. So let's just go ahead and stick this on. Ah, look at that. That's looking great. Right, this is definitely the best build of this session. So an orky beer bottle. We want that in his hand. That's where his focus is, and it sort of just looks like he's looking down his nose, which maybe suits his character. And then his arm just isn't fat enough, so I need a fatter arm. time to get a new knife blade, as this one is not cutting. I have a packet of 100. I take the new ones out of there and then I put the old ones in that side, so I don't have to have a bin full of scalpel blades. At some point in the future I will throw the whole box of old blades away. Where were we? We had an arm. I think we're just going to go ahead. This is going to look good, or it's going to look okay. Either way, it'll be fine. Right, let's have this guy loaded up a bit. Now, this is where you discover you didn't need your green stuff after all. Some little machinery bits at the front here. Something I don't like about this front part, but I'm not sure what. To the bits box. It's looking a bit, might be a bit too big though. Yeah, that's right. How to do this without getting my fingers stuck together. I mean, that's definitely where the P comes out. Yeah, I'm really happy with this one. Right, I want to make a shield for this guy. I need a piece of plasticard, I think. Yeah, it's about the right size. Let's get a shape. I'm thinking like a truck door with a window in it. That's about right. Okay, so I'm going to cut this off with scalpel. And cut this window out. Okay, here it comes. Nice. I'm just going to scuff up the edges, take the corners off, scrape some dings out of it. He needs a truncheon. This one looks fine. Yeah, this is about the right size. Probably that way around so it can show his face a bit more. Get some battle damage, some rusty, crummy bits out. Needs a little bit of texture, so I'm going to get a door handle on and a repaired panel. Yeah, that looks nice. Get it on this kind of shield arm, carved off some flat space, and it's all plastic glue, so that's going to hold really nicely. Yeah, looks good. I like it. Here it is, the last one. Gonna stick on this massive barbarian weapon here, and that is looking cool. Nice. I'm going to get some PVA and some sand on these, and I think we're done. Okay, so I've built some orcs. Let's figure out how to fit these into the game as a set of factions. So here's the initial factions I've come up with. First up is the grill cooks. Not only because Kromlech has these wicked chef's hats, but also because this faction sort of sets the tone that this is a game set in an urban environment, doesn't have military careers and jobs. It's got regular urban activities like grill cooks and chefs and street food peddlers. So these guys have got the special ability Tasty Smells. After each activation, each other friendly orc within 2d6 inches discards a dice from their tower. So it's a sort of always on passive healing effect. The fact that it's a 2d6 means that you can't really predict where the healing aura is. It might be stronger if it was a sort of static 6-inch bubble, but then you'd be able to like measure things and it'd be a bit more precise, and that's kind of not within the feeling of the game. Next up is the city swine. These guys are sort of toffs off Wall Street. But I also kind of see them as like hobos as well. They're a cross between toffs and hobos because, you know, those guys share the same fashion styles in many regards. So we've got top hats and monocles, white gloves, cigars, and I see these guys as like bankers in the city, but also greedy swine with their snouts in the trough. So called city swine. They could be called toffs as a sort of nodding reference to the GW Goth faction. But I like City Swine, that kind of gets it across as well. City Swine is a Imperial Triumphant reference. So their special ability is Scrounging. When moving, you may treat loot tokens as a 6 move dice. You still have to discard one of your 3 move dice each time you move. So they can basically move towards loot tokens very predictably. The little grabbing swine. Next up is the Riot Mimes. I'm not really happy with the miniature I've built for this guy, but it's proving kind of hard to make a Riot Mime. That's probably fine, it just means this is the expert level faction for converting your models. So the Riot Mimes have got invisible walls. An enemy orc that starts a movement dice move outside of 3 inches must halt at 3 inches away. They can move closer with the next move dice. The Riot Mimes have got a kind of passive defensive thing where you've got to spend a little bit more effort and resources to get into combat with them or get near them if they're like squatting on a pile of loot tokens. I think the mime-ness of this model will come across better with a paint job. You know, stripy shirt, top hat, all that. Next up, it's the Fuzz. I'm really happy with this model with its riot shield made out of a truck door. So these guys are kind of riot police, Judge Dredd looking characters, oppressive police force. Their special ability is Handcuff. Enemy orcs within 1 inch of this model cannot stand up or be booted up. So this faction can keep models pinned in place. This one might be really strong because you've got to get another orc to bash the Fuzz guy away before you can actually get your friend to stand up. So you have to work a little bit harder in the mid and late games. Next up is the Mushroom Psycho Barbarian Vikings. I don't mind the conversion here. I think the build here, I was hoping to get something a little bit more like a 60s hippie. I don't have any orcs with long hair. That would be kind of nice. I want these kind of to be like 60s hippies crossed with barbarians. This again might come across in the paint job. So the special rule is Berserk. If this orc ends its movement within 6 inches of an enemy orc, it may move into contact with this orc if it can do so in a straight line. So they get a kind of free charge action. I think 6 inches is probably too far for that. It feels a bit too strong. Maybe it needs to change to 3 inches, but we shall find out in playtesting. Next up is the Old Boys. These are military veterans, so they've got PTSD. If this git has fallen, they may gain 2d6 damage to stand up by themselves as an action. If they roll a double, they are out and removed from play. This is really strong because being able to get up by yourself kind of subverts one of the core tensions in the game, which is that you've got to kind of stick together and help each other up, and you can't just go Ramboing off on your own. 2d6 damage is quite a lot. Getting 7 dice straight away, that might be a bit too harsh, but then again, you run the risk of being eliminated. So I'm not sure if this is too strong or not. I think I do want these faction abilities to be fairly spicy and strong so that you really feel excited to take one faction over another. So I think if there are some that are feeling a bit weak, I might end up punching them up a bit so that all the factions feel cool and exciting. So next up, it's the Agitators, inspired by this goblin with the megaphone. He looks like a kind of rabble-rousing demagogue political orator at the front of a crowd. So we got the Agitators with their encouraging chants. When a friendly git within 6 inches rolls their move dice, this git may take a swig. That means essentially take a damage, to let the other git re-roll one of their move dice. Re-rolling just one of the move dice, I'm not sure if that's strong enough yet, but that one move dice could be the difference between getting a charge off or grabbing a loot token. So we shall see. That might be strong enough. And finally, there's the green wing. I ain't looting, I'm opposing a tyrannical government. So their special rule is when a friendly git within 6 inches makes a shooting attack, this git may take a swig to let the other git re-roll one of their shooting dice. So it's kind of shooting equivalent of the agitator's movement trick. So those guys are going to be banding together and shooting in groups. This one may not be strong enough, depending on how much you invest in shooting attacks. Well, there we go, some kit-bashed Kromlech orks ready for use in Space Gits. Some of these might appear in the rulebook, as I have sent them over to my glorious miniature painter. Tyler Russo, also known as a $1 billion clown farm, is doing the miniature painting, and that is extremely exciting because his brand of painting and also madness is extremely welcome on this project. Thanks, Tyler. I am releasing now the faction rules in their first early access form. So if you want to get the rules for different factions in Space Gits, you can tootle along to planetsmashergames.itch.io and you can download the early access version of the Space Gits rulebook, which now has been updated to contain some initial factions. There are 8 in there to begin with. I've got lots of ideas, and as I've been scooting through these bits, I've got more ideas for things to do. But yeah, I would very much welcome you having a dig in, having a playtest, and letting me know if you think the factions are fun, if you can think of any other factions that ought to exist in this orky metropolis. So the game, Space Gits, is now up on Kickstarter with a early preview page, a coming soon page. So you can follow the link in the description over to the Space Gits Kickstarter page and press the button to be notified when the campaign goes live. Probably it's going to go live in March. People tell me it's deadly important that I have lots of people click that button before the Kickstarter launches, so be a hun and click that button before the Kickstarter launches, so you'll get notified when it launches and you can give me your money for Space Gits almost immediately, and that will convince everybody else that drives by the page that this is a cool game and they should get involved as well. So thank you in advance for clicking the button. I've got a ton more to share on Space Gits over the next couple of weeks and months. Space Gits is going to be one of my core focuses for the beginning of this year. I'll probably do a video in a minute about what else is going on at Planet Smasher Games this year. But until next time, thanks for sticking around. I hope you have some fun building some orcs, and go check out Space Gits. Thanks. See you later.